This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so these are the details given by the developer. Okay, post user, this is post is to create a user. Okay, here is the detail. Post user, create a user. This can only be done by the logged in user, and details about it, and this is the sample request. So what is a request? It is a JSON request. JSON request, application JSON, it is the type given. It is, this is the type of the request. Okay, so what is this username? The username you are going to give. For example, what is this username is, for example, you have a UI, and from that you are creating a user. There will be fields: username, first name, last name, email, password, phone, and user status. Okay, so that fields are these fields only. Behind that, these fields only be called. Okay, so these things are given values from that UI. In API, UI is not there, so you have to give the value here. What values you have to give for the parameters? What are the parameters here? Username, first name, last name, these are the parameters. What is this entire? It is entirely JSON request. So what that request is, request will consist of parameters. What are the parameters? Username, ID, first name, these are the parameters, key values. Okay, so what are the values here? Username value is some value here, whatever you are performing, whatever you are going to give. So this is your value here. What is the first name value? String is a first name value. What is the last name? String is a last name value, right? So this is about the document. So this was your question, right, Anupama? What was, did I answer your question?
Yes, Rajni, I'm asking, they will give like get, you had to do this get function, like that they will specify
Yes,
on the
here they are
document.
giving, right? Yes. So here exactly same documentation. For sample, consider this is your API, you have to test. This is your project details. So they are giving get here, right? So get user logout, and this is for a logout. Get user login. This is for a user login. Delete for username you have to give, and that user will be deleted. Exactly same it is. The documentation Swagger UI tool is used for documenting only. So all details as per that one only given in this. Okay.
Okay, Rajni.
Okay. Yes.
What about put, Rajni?
So yes. What about put here? What is a method? So not mandatory always your developer will use all the things. Here for something to update the existing pet, put is used. Okay, in this pet functionality put method is used, but in this user, yes, put is used to update the user in real time. Okay, in the industry the reality is all is update, create, all is used, like post method is used for both. Okay, but as per the documentation standards, put is for update, post is for create. But post will do both the jobs, update and create. Okay, so not mandatory everything should be there. Get is for reading the details. Okay, so how this get is going to work, the details are here in the documentation, what that method will do, what it will return. Get is for read, right? What are the CRUD operations? Tell me guys, what are the CRUD operation? What are the methods? What are the HTTP methods?
Get, post,
Yes, get,
update, and
Delete.
update is,
delete.
update is not there.
Put,
Put.
post,
Yes,
delete.
and delete.
Delete.
So what
Delete.
these are performing: create, read, update, delete. So these
Delete.
are the CRUD operations that are performed with this methods: get, post, put, delete. Okay, and HTTP methods. These are nothing but HTTP methods. Okay. So what is Some of the benefits of APIs, advantages of API, what are the tools used, Postman is a tool used. Guys, everyone did the Postman installation? Yes?
Yes, I
Yeah,
Not done?
it's installed, Rajni. It's saying create an account. We should create our account, huh?
Yeah, with your email ID, you create an account.
Okay.
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 Create an account, dummy account you create. Okay, do not, it will not ask for any license. It is a free one. Create a free one, give a email ID or a mobile number if it is asking. No worries. Okay, some licenses or some free trials also they will ask for few details, because we have to use that application means we have to give those details.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Hmm?
Okay. I installed. Today I'll create the account and everything. I
Yes.
will do. Yeah.
So this weekend, okay, so next class will be on a Monday, guys, right? So before that, you create a Postman and do the installation, and then you should have this, and I will be sharing you the assignments today to perform this basic operations in the Postman. So
Okay.
Postman is a tool used for testing the REST API. Okay, so some of the interview questions. Okay, so what will be the interview questions on a API, guys? So the questions will be, what is API testing? What are the advantages of API testing? How we do the API testing? Okay, these are the basic. And apart from that, what is the difference between unit testing and API testing? This is very famous interview question. So unit testing is, we already know, right? Unit testing is testing unit component of your application, that is unit testing. Testing as a your application as a whole, that is your unit testing. Testing application as a unit component, okay, not a whole, guys. Okay, sorry. What as the smallest unit of your application you are testing, that is unit testing. Developers do this. API testing is very much different. What it is, API testing is testing the APIs and conducted by the QAs. Unit testing is conducted by the development team. Unit testing is form of white box. White box means you are looking at a code, right? API testing is form of a black box, means you are not looking at a code. Here we are looking at a JSON only, guys. JSON is not a code. JSON is a parameter. That is again a request parameter. Here we are able to see the JSON. Okay, so this is your request parameter. It is not a code. There is a beyond this, there is a code logic to create this user. Okay, so that we are not looking at. Means code is not involved. It is a form of black box testing only. Few people will make a mistake here. API testing they consider as a white box. Okay, looking at a JSON, they will say JSON is a code. JSON is not a business logic, right? It is a user parameter. So it is a black box testing. What is a black box testing, guys?
We don't have
So
to see
guys,
the code.
preparing the
Sorry.
manual testing or forgetting that manual topics, right? Preparing manual testing, or as long as we are making the progress, forgetting the manual testing topics, do not do like that. Okay, so make a proper revision of all the previous topics that we already discussed. Okay, so what you need to do in this. So in preparation, when I say preparation, you should go through the documents or the recordings, or search for some reference materials. Already I gave you references. Read that, understand, prepare for the interviews, read the interview questions for manual testing, agile testing. Okay, interview questions for APIs. So you should research and improve your knowledge. Okay, class is nothing but it will give you few details. Okay, so there is a path given, or you have got the awareness about the topics. Again, you have to put your own effort to make it more effective, right? So you will understand only when you will sit and learn. Only class will not help, guys. Okay, class will give you the way and you can prepare, ask me questions. Okay, you have to prepare, you have to create that understanding so that you will grow. Okay, so without that preparation you will not be able to clear the interviews. And let me tell you one thing before that, before we close the training, I will be taking the 3 mock interviews of each one of you. Okay, and the feedback will be shared with the coordinator. Okay, so the feedback will be shared, and so to have that good feedback, okay, have that all completed properly, you have to prepare from now. In a day or in a 2 days you will not be able to cover everything. Okay, so what all topics we are covering? We are covering manual testing, Java, API testing. Okay, then we will be covering Selenium framework, TestNG, Maven, Cucumber, different frameworks. So all together it will be so much. From now, if you prepare every day little bit, it will be good. Okay, so it will be easy. Down the line, after 2 months, you have to face that interview. Okay, mock interview, and I will be taking that. And I know what all things I covered. For sure, I'll be expecting you should answer that. Okay. Maybe you are aware of this or not aware of. So I thought to share this. Okay. So what is unit testing, API testing, the difference? This is very famous interview question. Okay. So unit testing is conducted prior to the process of including the code in the build. So unit testing is conducted before the actual testing. Okay, so code is given for the testing. Before that only unit testing developer will perform. API testing is conducted before the build is ready for the testing. Means what? Your UI is not developed. Okay, business logic is only developed and you will perform the API testing. Source code is involved in unit testing. Source code is not involved in the unit testing. API testing, the scope of testing is, sorry, unit testing, scope of testing is very limited. API testing is very wide. So many things you can do in the API testing: functional, non-functional, performance, security, okay, end-to-end testing, everything you can do with the API. So how to do, we will see that. Okay. What is the next here? Okay, so challenges in API testing. Some of the challenges we face while doing API testing are as follows: like selecting proper parameters and its combination. These are the challenges. What are the parameters and combinations? First name, last name is a parameter, right? Selecting the proper valid, invalid combination of the parameters, that is a challenge. How it is a challenge? Sometimes, okay, so sometimes we don't know what is user status is. Okay, to select a parameter, for example, valid, invalid, you have to select. So that is selecting that valid, invalid user status, that is challenging. Okay, selecting proper parameters and its combination, it is challenging. Categorizing the parameters properly, proper call sequence is required, as this may lead to inadequate coverage in the testing. So proper call sequence is required means what? So you have to call the APIs in a proper sequence. Why we have to? For example, what is the sequences? Sequences, first we will create, then only we can update, right? We create, then we update, then after update we read, right? Again we update, and then again we read. Okay, then again we delete, and then again we read. And this time we should not be able to read. The item is not available, right? The user is not available. Yes or no, guys?
Yes, Rajni.
Okay, so how you test? For example, you created a user, right? You will read it. Again you update it, you will read it, the updates are saved or not. Again you update, you read it, again the updates are saved or not. You will delete and you should not be able to search that item. So this sequence, if you want to create with the APIs, what you will use? You will use a post method first. Again, you will use a get method. Again, you will use a put method. Again, you will use a get method. Here update, you will use a put method. Again, here you will use a get, and here you will use a delete. So this is a call sequences. Proper call sequencing is required as this may lead to inadequate coverage in the testing. Why we need to create a call sequence? We have to add the coverage. Okay, so as I said, you can do the end-to-end testing. This is end-to-end testing, guys. This is end-to-end testing. End-to-end testing is this one: creating, updating, deleting, then reading the details. So this is your end-to-end flow for a create. For example, something other is there, so for that also end-to-end scenario you will create. So the call sequence is important to have the coverage. Okay, then only you will understand, okay, whatever you created you are able to read, which is updated, you are able to read. The data is saved properly as per the updates. Okay, so delete is for delete, get is for item not available, create is for create, get is to get the details. Okay, so this is about the call sequence. So the proper call sequencing is required as this may lead to the inadequate coverage in the testing. When we say we can perform different types of testing in the APIs, okay, so exactly similar to the UI, all scenarios we can test. Okay, we can test the individual APIs, we can test the call sequences, end-to-end scenarios, performance testing, how much seconds it is taking to respond. Okay, and verify, validate output. Due to the absence of GUI, it is quite difficult to provide the input value. So what are the challenges of this API? The main challenge is UI is not there. GUI means graphical user interface. The interface, for example, looking for a Amazon, this is your front end equal to GUI equal to UI, everything is same. Graphical user interface. Able to understand, guys, what is GUI?
Rajni, I have a question at the last point. So you said it is difficult to provide input the values, right? See, here we are giving the parameters, right? Parameter values, that is also an input. So it's like same of GUI, right? We are giving the parameter values as an input. We can
It is
use
not
for all.
same. Yeah, it is same as a GUI, but it is not exactly the GUI, right? It is same as, for example, I have a site. Okay, so this registration site is there. On this registration site there are some details. Okay, and same page I am testing from the API. So there will be first name, last name, company name, all these as a parameters here. It is same as a UI testing, but when there is a no UI, it is bit difficult to select these parameters, right? You have to give the email input, password, phone number, status. It is very easy to give here. Okay, it is very easy to give me here input, very easy. Job title also we have to give here. Everything is here, and something you are able to give here in the JSON. You have to give, means carefully you have to give, you have to follow the structure, you have to maintain that same comma. Okay, nothing you should be changing, it should be the same format. Anything more you give or anything less you give, there will be error. Your request will not be taken, comma is missing, there will be error. Okay, some invalid you give, there will be error. So the error is because of the invalid or invalid check. You have to spend some time, investigate, understand, because there is no UI. No UI means this page is not available. Only in place of this page, in place of this fields, you are providing the value, right?
Yes, yeah. My question is like, how can you test like with different scenarios here with the JSON format?
Mhm.
Positive, negative, all the things.
Rajni, in that page also we have to give the details correct only, right? Like here also we can't miss there also, right? In that one also.
Sorry, guys, what we have to do?
And no, Rajni, my question is like, we have to test different scenarios, right? Like positive
Hmm.
and negative scenarios. So in the
Hmm.
JSON format, will we provide the same scenarios, like same input as positive values, negative values?
Yes, right.
Can
Yes,
use-
same we will give. Username blank we will give, first name we will give blank, or we will give numbers and we will check. Email ID, some invalid email ID we will give and check. That everything we will do, guys. Okay, so everything about that password, phone, valid, invalid. Yes, we do give like a application. Right. We can perform all the scenarios, all the testing. That is what I'm saying. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, for this we need to prepare another test cases, or can we use the same manual test cases, like what we are using for
Different test
test?
cases.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Rajni.
Hmm.
Rajini, one more question I have.
Mhm.
This we are passing the parameters: username, first name, last name. So, if we want to perform like placing an order, for that, how we do it?
Sorry, different items.
I mean, requirement of functions according to each functionality. We need to write, parameters or different.
Yes, each function means the method, put method, get method, you're saying?
I mean, just for login we write username and password. For or placing an order, how we write then?
Okay, there will be the sample given to you guys. Do not worry. For a order place, okay. For example, there is a pet you are creating in a store. This is a sample request. Okay, so that are given. For example, placing an item, placing an order. Okay, for example, there will be the order number. Okay, or else order detail, order item. Okay, equal to you will give, not
No.
equal to, here everything is you are giving order item. Suppose it is a mobile or a some unique ID it is. Okay, order item, this is there. Okay, order amount will be there, comma is there. Okay, so order amount here, and what will be the amount here? Suppose 100. Okay, and comma, order status, order status, order status, and then here it is placed order, something like this.
Okay, for everything only in string you are writing. So string format. We don't want to use other like
Other
integer.
format, it will be amount will be integer, so no need to give in the double quotes. Depends, guys. Okay.
Okay, depends. Okay.
Okay. Depends. Whatever the type is in that format, developer will decide this. What will be the parameters? So they will develop, and as a sample they will give you.
Okay, got
We
it.
will not write, and we will not worry about what will be the parameters at all. The
No.
business logic, okay, the developers, the BAs, the business people, they will decide what parameters will come for order placement or how the amount will be calculated, how that logic will be there, what will be the delivery charge, what will be the courier charge or a shipment charge, what will be the processing charge, anything. Okay, what will be the offers, what will be the discounts, we are not worried about. Whatever is given to you, we will do the testing. Okay, that's why testing is very easy, guys. You do not have to put your mind in all those things. You have to understand what is requirement. Okay, first thing, whatever your client is asking or expecting exactly is there or not, we have to check. If it is not there, that's it, we will raise a defect. It is not as per expected, defect is reported, done. So the QA job is to always point out at something which is not as per the client expectations. What is ultimate aim of testing? Finding out the defects, finding out what is not working, what is not as per the client expectations. That is ultimate aim of your testing. The thumb rule in the testing is like you always and always have to find the defects. That is what your day-to-day activity is. What is not working, what is not working. Okay, so that's why developers will be always like have the work, something to fix, something to figure out, or do the fixes around, do the code changes. Okay, and you are testing. As long as the application is available, you will perform different testing types and test and do the testing and find out. So API testing giving you the advantage, early testing before your page is developed, that time only you can start testing. So it is again a very good feature of APIs, right? That's how API is very famous. Nowadays there are so many jobs for API testing. If you put only manual testing and API testing as an experience or a knowledge, you will get jobs, you will get calls. Okay, so there are jobs for the API testing alone as well in the market. But if you put in API, Selenium, Java all together, there are good jobs, good paying jobs. Okay, so where you can expect some good roles with the good companies and all. Okay, this is
Rajni, can you post that Swagger 2 link in the chat box? So we can also use that, right?
okay, here it is. Yes, you can also use, guys. Yes. So Swagger, it is for a sample. They have given few API details. Okay, so this is a tool by the Smart Beer. Okay, this company, and this is the licensed one. Many companies will go with this. So SmartBear will have the products for the, it has API testing tools as well. Okay, so PUI is a tool by the SmartBear only. So they will be having like there you can do the API testing as well. Okay, in that. So it is a bit different than this Postman tool. Okay, there also you can create an endpoint and then perform the API testing. So here I will close all this. Okay, about it. Okay, guys, so now what is we are looking at? Okay, so this is, I will close this also, I will close.
Actually, I didn't receive any recording videos after the Java. Did you send anything?
Okay, no, I did not send, guys. So today I'll send you. Okay, today I'll send the recordings, and any questions you write to me, guys, if you have any questions or anything. And do some practice research about all these and read about. Okay, so what is next? We have seen API testing, the types, challenges in the API. So what types of bug we get in the API testing when we perform? So duplicate or missing functionality, performance related issues, API is responding very slow. Suppose there is a payment and payment is taking more time. So it should not take more time, right? Some moderate time, it is okay. Okay, so it will not happen in a second, but yeah. So the requirement that will be given, okay, 10 seconds, within that 10 seconds that all API should respond, you have got the requirement. Then you will say if it is taking more than 10 seconds means it is a performance issue. Okay, that also we reported as a defect. Some reliability issues, some proper messages, improper messages means what? The error message, you are not giving the username, but you are getting invalid supplier. For example, you are not giving username, but error message is something. You are giving invalid email, but invalid username supplied. This is you are getting in the response. So valid proper messages we should get for a valid, and for any invalid scenario, valid error messages you should get. So that is what the duplicate or improper messaging means. So incompatible error handling mechanism, for example, so the errors are not given. What is the error? 400 is a status error code. So status error code is not proper. Okay, multi-threaded issues, some other issues you will get, that are the different bugs in the API. So in the APIs we get issues related to the error messages. Okay, even though you are giving invalid but user is created, that should not happen, right? So something like that defects we will get in the API. So what API testing best practices? So test for the expected results. Add a stress to the system by sending a series of API load tests. Means perform the test case, load testing. Okay, create test case with all possible input combinations for a complete coverage. What input combinations means, guys? So here in this username, what is invalid, valid, all these valid, invalid you have to give, that are your combinations for the coverage. Okay, these are all the create test cases with all possible input combinations for a complete test coverage. Prioritize API test functions to make it easy to test. Prioritize test case means create is working first, then we will check with the get. Okay, so after create is done, then we will get. After create is done, we will update and then read. Okay, then we will do the delete. So that's how in a sequence we test, prioritize which one to test first to make that easy. Create a test to handle unforeseen problems. So your test should be able to find the problems and handle it. For example, you are reading but it is not available, you have to handle that such situation. So instead of directly calling the read method, you will create and read it. Okay, that will never happen. So you are trying to read a user which is not available, that scenario you want to stop, so you will create it and then read it. That's how. So these are some of the best practices for API testing end to end. So API documentation, Swagger UI is a tool that is used for the API documentation and writing the test cases and setting the system environment, setting the environment. Okay, so how we perform the API testing end to end? With the API documentation. API documentation will provide all the details. After we got the API documentation, we will create the test cases, write the test cases, set the environment, okay, where we are going to run the test cases. Then test execution means perform the testing. Automation, like here also in APIs also we can perform the automation. And developer design the technical design, interactive document. So Swagger document they will create, interactive document who will create, developer will create, and they will share the link to the QA. So QA will just read that and understand. So some of the interview questions that we will discuss tomorrow, guys, on this.
Where we need to write the test cases, we can write in the Postman itself, or we have to use another tool.
In the simple, guys, we can write the scenarios just, okay, so valid, which is invalid, what is valid, and that's it. Okay, so you can write scenarios or you can write the test cases with the sample request.
In the Excel, you mean, right? In the Excel,
Yeah,
we can.
in the Excel, in whichever tool you will use that. Okay.
Can you please send one template how you write like ABI test case?
Okay. Okay. So how we will write? Yeah, okay, guys. So we'll write it. Okay. So not just a template I will share. So we will write it, the API test cases, and we will see. Okay.
Rajni, will you explain this tool completely later after you
Sorry?
complete? Will you discuss the tool, like how to use this tool?
Yes, completely. Yes, guys. Yes. So now we are looking at a basics. Now after this, we will see how we automate, how we create, and then how we add a assertion, how we test it, how we like there are so many things, guys. Okay, in the Postman tool to understand or run. Okay, what is this runner, and then in that runner, how you are going to run this. There are so many things to learn in the API testing. We will spend one more week on a API testing only. Okay, so we will write some test cases, execute, add automation as well. Very simple automation also. Okay, here it is. So how many are passed? Okay, how many are failed? You can run, and then here run the how you are going to run it, how it is running, executed, 3 are passed, how it is showing, what are these. This we all like so many things we have to understand now. Okay, so many things are yet to be discussed from the API's point of view. We will see. APIs is bit this one, guys. Okay, so once you understand, it is very simple. Before you understand, it is very complex. You feel it is like there are other things as well. SOAP APIs, REST APIs, what are the differences? Okay, what we perform. These are the methods we have seen that come under the REST APIs. Okay, so a few other things we have to discuss, and then what is authorization, authentication, what is the security, that also we will see. Slowly we will go into the more details. Okay, once at once if we see all, then it will be a bit confusion. So APIs is a very good topic, very easy, but once you understand, it is very easy to perform. Okay, so you will really enjoy this testing, API testing, then the UI testing. Okay, so it is very famous, like it is very interesting. Okay, and very cool as well, and in a very short time you will be able to finish your testing as well.